Hey there, and welcome to video 23 of the Flipped History series on the second phase of industrialization. The essential question for this video is how did the economy accelerate the growth of Canada? There are 4 success criteria you should meet by the end of this video, and they are as follows. I can indicate the factors that contributed to the second phase of industrialization. I can indicate the sources of energy, the division of labor, and the means of production. I can indicate the consequences of the second phase of industrialization on the territory, and I can explain capitalism and how it contributed to industrialization. Before I start talking about the second phase of industrialization, I just want to take a few minutes to go over the idea of capitalism that was discussed in the first phase of industrialization video. Capitalism is an economic system that is characterized by privately owned means of production. It's a system in which the markets are very open, there are few regulations, the market is very competitive, and profits are tied to high production. So the more stuff you make and sell, the more money you will make. The second phase of industrialization in Canada was characterized by a rapid expansion of industries that developed because of new sources of energy, specifically in Quebec, that was hydroelectricity. To be competitive, Canadian industries had to compete with American and British industries, and in order to do so, they had to keep their costs low. And to lower the production costs, they built factories close to the source of materials, near forests or mines, for the resources they were looking for. And because of the development of railways, the railways allowed the products to be distributed at a lower cost, so they could build a factory close to the resource and then ship it back to the necessary market. There were 3 factors that really enabled Canada to get enough capital to ensure economic growth during the second phase of industrialization. That include the high production of wheat and the profits from it, the First World War, which came a bit later, and foreign investment. As you can see in the graph here, between 1900 and 1930, you have an increase, a gradual increase of the investment from the U.S. While simultaneously having a progressive decrease in the investments from Great Britain. Anyone who wanted to invest in the natural resource sector got privileges like paying less taxes and really good returns on investment. And this supply of foreign capital led to modernization of the industrial infrastructures, including the building of factories and transportation networks, and an increase in the number of jobs. The fact that Quebec has a large number of waterways, it was this resource that helped develop hydroelectric dams. The electricity was then directed towards the cities and to factories and used for production. An example which you can see is the dam right here in the lower right. Another industry that became very prominent and important in Quebec was pulp and paper. The large quantities of wood necessary for production of pulp and a huge demand of newsprint in America helped explain the growth of the pulp and paper industry in Quebec. In the early 20th century, approximately 75 to 80% of North America's paper came from Canada. Another important industry during the second phase was mining. Mining during that time period grew and developed rapidly. Mineral resources attracted foreign investors who then set up factories in Quebec. Some of the examples of mining that was done during that time period was zinc, copper, nickel, gold, asbestos. An example can be found right here. This is an asbestos mine in Quebec. Another industry that expanded during that time period, during the second phase, was aluminum, and this is an aluminum smelting plant. And due to the large availability of hydroelectricity, many aluminum smelters were established in Quebec. Aluminum was used for transport and building materials as well as electrical components. The Northern Aluminum Company established itself in Shawinigan in about 1902, which changed its name and is now known as Alcan. Just a few more things about the second phase of industrialization and its impact on the territory and cities. The power produced by our hydroelectric dams powered streetcar networks in cities, and therefore getting around the city became easier and actually a lot cheaper. A byproduct of that is that people no longer need to live within walking distance of work, and cities started to expand and encroaching on what was traditionally viewed as farmland. Electricity offered greater comfort specifically to wealthy people. It's also important to note that while there is a second phase of industrialization, the first phase of industrialization doesn't actually stop. It continues. So while the first phase had high production, more of a focus on things like textiles and increased urbanization, this continued as you get the second phase of industrialization, but the difference is that second phase focused on more diversified materials, specifically natural resource development. The railway expanded, high production stayed the same, but the power source changed to electricity. Thanks for watching video 23 of the Flipped History series about the second phase of industrialization. Hopefully you've met the essential question by the end of this video: how did the economy accelerate the growth of Canada? And you are able to meet the 4 success criteria. I can indicate the factors that contributed to the second phase of industrialization. I can indicate the source of energy, the division of labor, and the means of production. I can indicate the consequences of the second phase of industrialization on the territory, and I can explain capitalism and how it contributed to industrialization. Video 24 will discuss the first wave of feminism.